Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a person called Oscar that's been asked to talk about his youth down Trewoon or Troon Town, whatever they used to call it. I was born on the 24th of March 1931. And my mother, Malama Audrey Doreen Hill. I was a surprise to some people, I suppose, in Trewoon at the time. But yes, there I was, a bouncing baby. And it wasn't too long before my father and mother took me up to the old Methodist chapel to be baptized. And I think I was the last one to be baptized in the old chapel up on Top Town, what we all used to call it, where the old garage was, where the car showroom was, and what else? I don't remember, or I can't place them. Yes, I was a young lad. I was growing up slowly, like every other baby did. And when I could start walking around, I would walk around the garden, up and down the stairs. I met other youngsters, Trevor, Morris, or Chico, as they were called, or that he was called at a later date, the same as me being called Oscar. Yes, we walked. Yes, we learnt to walk. And Mother took me up to the village to do some shopping in a pushchair, leaving my aunt home to look after the house and to do what had to be done. It was nice being pushed up to the village, down to Roger Dairy for the milk, and I forget the name of the person that had the big shop, or had the shop below the post office. He was, so my mother always said, a relation to the family. And she always laughed at him when she had bought a packet of biscuits. He would drop it on the counter and break one or two of them. But still, I was growing up slowly, and I met up with, like I said, Trevor and Morris, and we formed a little group, and we was up and down Lower Trewoon, Dark Lane, Roman Road, down at Lower Trewoon. On the left-hand side there was a lovely grass area where we could play, and as we got older we went further away across the fields, and we enjoyed ourselves. And when the farmer was working on his fields, we used to get over the edge and have a look at him and see what he was doing. And as we grew older, off we went to school. Mother took me down on the first day, obviously, and Mr. Perry was the headmaster, and Miss Harris was teaching the junior class. I was a member of it along with many others. She lived down Paldew, over the bridge which my great uncle built, and into the right was a little bungalow, now gone, many years ago. And she went to school, she drove to school on a little motorbike. Well, like everyone else, we tried to learn and moving up through the classes. We enjoyed it, I suppose. Mr. Perry was a good, hard and headmaster. He didn't like any fooling about in the class. And we was always glad, or I was always glad, to come to the end of the school lessons and get home out of the way, where we used to gather together, Trevor and Morris, and go around investigating, down even as far as Japan's. It was fun, learning. If we couldn't learn at school, we could learn out of school, and we enjoyed it. And as we grew older, I used to like helping the farm. I used to go down to Clare Farm and slice up turnips for the cattle, or if the farmers were out in the fields working, I used to, at my age, do a little bit and help dropping potatoes, assisting with planting cabbage, while the farmer was going on with a shovel, opening the ground. I would drop the cabbage plant into the ground and carry on like that. Help him with the
the sowing.
Help him with the
Harvest.
no. Help him with the cutting of the corn. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Cutting of the corn. And as the binder was going on, I was coming on as a lad, helping the farmers with their sheaves, making shocks of 6 or 8 sheaves. And as the farmer was going around with his horses and cutting the corn, if a rabbit ran out, the dog caught it, he would take it back to the farmer, and the farmer would give me a shout and say, "Here you are, boy, a rabbit for mother for dinner." Very nice of him. But there we are. The further we went, the older we got. I know I'm cutting this lot short, but
Was your father a farmer, Oscar?
no, my father.
What did he do?
My father was a carpenter.
Carpenter.
He was a lizard man, and quite a size family down at the Lizard. The Hills owned the Mounts Bay Hotel down Pimena Road, and my father was one of the family a lovely house. Eh, When I grew up old enough, I would go down go down with the van. Mr. Lugg used to drive the van, the goods van, and take shopping down, and I would go down and say hello to me aunt at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, yes,
Which house did you live in Trewoon? Which one were you born in?
I was born in Park Bean.
Yeah.
It was my grand and grandfather. I knew at my early age, but Mother always said, Father, my grandfather, once he, in his later life, I was the only one that could get in from the road. I suppose saying, come on, Grandad, come on in. You've got to come in now.
Okay, yeah.
But yes, going back a little bit, my grandfather and grandmother, she was from Helston.
Really?
And they had quite a family. The first 3 sons died within 3 months.
Oh my goodness.
3 months. And the eldest, before he died, was 9 months old. And then they had 5 daughters. And my mother was the youngest.
Oh, okay.
And she was called Malama Audrey Doreen.
Okay.
What a name. Mine was a bit better. I was called Kenneth Irwin at my early age. But from school days to today, I was known as Oscar.
Oscar, yeah.
If nobody knew me as Irwin, hardly in the village.
Were you named after your grandfather? Were you named after your grandfather?
No. For some unknown reason, unknown reason, when my grandmother was dying, she had the daughters around her bed, and as my mother mentioned to me, she said, now, I haven't got long, but there's one thing I would like you to do something for me and to swear that you would do it. And her daughters all said, yes, all right, Mother, we'll do that. And she said, the daughter that gets the first son, I would like for him to be called Irwin. Why? I've no idea.
Oh.
But now, Mother was the youngest, and the other 4 sisters at the time got married and went off. One went to Canada, a couple went to Turkey, and one, believe it or not, ended up in Bodmin Asylum.
Oh, wow.
She, when the war started apparently, she would be outside in the road shouting, leave Mr. Adolf go. And he was taken away. She was taken away. But there we are. The war came, and we were still going to school.
Did you have air raid warnings and practices? Air raid warnings? Did the sirens go off ever?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. But yes, the war started, and I must have been, I don't know how long. 45. Yes, that was 1945 it started, didn't it?
Then it ended, yeah, 1939.
1939, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
1939.
So you were 8.
And Perdanik was being built, and we had 2 of wimpy drivers lodging with us. And of course the army had taken over the church house, and the old chapel up at Top Town was turned into a naffy, I suppose. And as boys, we used to sit outside on the wall, and anyone coming in and out, or coming out, we used to say, "Any chocolate, mister? Any chocolate?" Well, one sergeant from the army, he was in charge of a searchlight unit up in Meaver, or up the farm through William's farm and up on the high area,
Right.
with a searchlight and a Nissanut. And this particular evening he was coming out, and we said to him, "A bit of chocolate, mister." He stopped and said, "Hello, how old are you?" I forgot.
Yeah.
"You are," he said, "here's a bar of chocolate for you." So I said, "Well, that's very nice of you." I said, "Would you like to come home and have a cup of tea with Mother? We got a piano and a pedal organ in the dining room." Well, Mother got the piano for me to learn to play it, but I didn't know one note from the other, so I left that go. But anyway, yes, sergeant. Now, what was the sergeant called? I don't know. I can't remember. But yes, he called in. He came in and made it home. And Mother always had 2 or 3 army, or maybe the odd airfield airman. For a bit of comfort, we had 2 sitting rooms with easy chairs in there, and the piano was up there, and if you wanted to play a bit, everything went off well. And one of the drivers from Ireland, Mother used to write to his mother in Ireland, and she used to send over little boxes of food for us.
Really?
Well, that was very nice. And the sergeant from the searchlight unit said to me one day, "Oh, you know where we are, boy, don't you? Up the lane by the quarry." I said, "Yes." I said, "Do you think you could come up?" And call in and see us. I said, yes, I'll do that. Well, I used to take a shortcut because coming out of Mullion, there were stone steps built into a hedge, which used to take a person into his garden. And then up across a couple of fields, you come out in the Meaver Road.
Oh, yes.
And then down past the quarry, well, it was built up years ago.
Right.
But come down to the quarry, up the lane, and into the little army unit up there. And yes, I was made quite welcome. And then when the sergeant looked at his watch, he said, oh, I think it's time you went home, boy. And here, I got something for you to take home. And it was a unused sandbag, and it was full up. And he said, now, take this home for Mother and tell her I'll be home for a bath at 8 o'clock. I did that, and it was full of food.
Oh, wonderful, yeah.
Yeah. But there's something I forgot, yes, to tell you, and we all did it. We all did it down Trewoon.
Yeah.
There were 13 houses, and there was one lovely little spring of pure water down there, not very deep. And when I got to the age, I used to walk down with 2 buckets and a hoop and fill the buckets up, bring the water home and tip in the galvanized tank outside the back door. Well, we all made different number of trips. I used to make 3 or 4 trips, one after the other.
Every day?
Every day with the hoop, keeping the water off my feet or off my shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mother used to go down, Father used to go down, and everybody went down. They relied, I suppose, on that one little spring which ended up, oh, no more 18 inches, I suppose, of pure water. It was lovely. And of course we, if it rained, it filled up the tank outside the door. And if it didn't rain, well, we all went down with 2 buckets and tipped it, apart from the odd couple of buckets that were put indoors for cooking and making a bit of tea, drop of tea or something. And that was pumped up to a small tank outside, fitted outside, and fed indoors to the bathroom. And I think my grandfather built an extension onto a cob cottage.
Cob cottage?
Yes, it was cob.
Oh, wow.
And we used to pump the water up to the tank up top, and when you was having a bath, you had a great copper on the Cornish range to heat the water, and taking upstairs and mixing up with the cold water and have a little bath up there.
So
then there was a toilet up there as well, and that flushed down to the cesspit.
Right.
We had an apple tree in the garden, which was nice. We had a outside toilet down the bottom of the garden, which was rarely used, and we had a little run of chicken down there, which our mother used to have killed twice a year.
Oh.
Not the same chicken, of course,
Right.
but one for Christmas and one for Easter. And mother or father never had the will to kill a chicken. We used to ask Mr. Bill Skewis, that was Morris's father, Chico's father, to come up and wring the chicken's neck. And well, mother can plucking and cooking, and we all eating.
Right.
And here we are.
How did your mother do her washing then? You carried hot water up to the bath, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, hot water and cold water. How did she do? Did she have a big tub for her laundry? What?
Yeah, downstairs, just outside the kitchen, there was a little extension built, and in the corner was a copper. However, mother used to light a fire underneath
Right.
underneath the whatever you call it, and the clothes would be heated up in there and not boiled, but
Yes.
cleaned,
Yeah.
and then of course hung out on the line. And I know I'm mucking this lot up, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. It's fascinating.
But anyway, yes, I can remember standing up outside of the church house with a number of people waiting for the army to arrive to take over the church house. And we were there when they arrived, lorries and the officer in a sidecar, and we thought, good Lord, the war must be on then. And then of course Perdanic was being built, and the Mullion Hotel was occupied by the RAF for their officers.
Yeah.
And the Cove Hotel was the officers from not the Cove Hotel, Puldew Hotel was the home for the officers, and the Cove Hotel was closed. I can remember sitting down in school, as usual, in the front class. Yes, I was put in the front class of all things. I was usually sitting in the back row, and somebody was passing on a magazine book. I don't know what it was. I forget now. But there was a photograph of a young lady there. I won't say any more than that.
Okay.
And
Oh dear, voice.
Mr. Perry said, Hill, what have you got there? I said, nothing, sir.
Yeah.
You have, bring it out here. So I got up and took the magazine out. He had a good look at him. He said, put your hand out. And I felt the ruler several times. Yeah, that was his favourite pastime, I think.
Oh dear.
Yes, we were sitting down in school. And it was nothing new to hear aircraft taken over from Perdanic, depending on the direction of the wind.
Oh, yeah.
And we heard this aircraft coming up, and all of a sudden the engine stopped. And I thought, good God. And then there was an explosion.
Oh, no.
Oh, good Lord, where the heck was that then? Well, we left school and walked up to Top Town, and the local policeman was there, Mr. Wright. Can't go down here, boy. I said, but we live down here, sir. We live down there. I think it was Basil Williams, Trevor Chico, and Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well. Now keep clear of everyone. There's a lot of transport down there. Well, we wondered what the heck that was, so we walked down. And down outside of Skewer's house, there was 2 or 3 transport. There were airmen walking around, and up on my right hand side, in the field where Rosemary Bray now lives, in that corner of the field.
Wow, yeah.
This bullfighter had come down and crashed.
Oh.
Blew up, obviously, because apparently it was armed and going out on patrol.
Oh, no.
Well, Mother always had the idea that it was right in line with our cottage. But the pilot, seeing that, dropped the nose down. And of course it did. It came into the field where Rosemary's bungalow is now,
Yeah.
and saved the houses from across the road. And Mother, well, anyway, yes, we got home from school with all these airmen wandering around. I went in, changed, and went up on top of the rise over the gate and down behind the bungalow of the Williams, and I could see airmen down there picking up bits of metal from the aircraft.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm sure I saw an airman pick up the joystick with the hand still on it.
Oh.
I've always come to that conclusion. And then there was a waff going around, perhaps from the hospital, going around looking for bits of flesh, because there were two airmen, pilot and navigator, in that bullfighter. Oh dear, I thought. And I was told that to dig out the engines, they had to dig down 10 feet.
Yeah.
I can't see that, but there we are. Yes, it was, and on the way down to Trewoon, there's a lovely house on the right hand side on a little bend. It used to be called Domain,
Oh, yes.
and a Mrs. Pike lived in there, a great friend of Mother's. And of course she was an elderly woman. She moved out and went up country somewhere to live with her daughter. And Domain was commandeered to be the hospital for Burdanic Airfield. The garage kept the little ambulance, and I got a photograph here somewhere of the crew with the driver, the WAF driver, and 2 or 3 of the staff from the hospital. And the driver of the ambulance, they used to call Bunny, and she used to spend quite a few hours of her rest period in with Mother. I don't know, Mother was open during the war to anybody that wanted to come in, Army, Navy, or, well, no, Army or Air Force. Now, we didn't have any Navy in Mullion during the war.
That's surprising in some respects.
Yeah, but there we are.
They're up by Plymouth.
Yes, I felt sorry for them.
Yeah.
But there we are.
Hello.
Oh, hello. I am. Yeah. Oh, all right.
It's
Yeah. Is Mother sleeping? Oh, she ought to be.
You wish you were.
No, I don't know. I've got all muddled up a bit, I'm afraid.
Were they all British airmen, British Army, or any Americans?
I don't know. They weren't American.
No, you would have.
They had Polish squadrons up there.
Really?
Poles, Czechs. I don't know. Perhaps American squadrons. I don't know. But yeah. Going back to school again. I can remember one afternoon, Mr. Perry said, right, the classes will form up outside, and we're going to walk down to the WI because we're going to be entertained. And we walked down, chairs was all out for us, and we sat down and wondered what was happening. And it was a concert given by the airmen from Burdanic. Oh, we had there was a juggler and a singer and one thing and another, and then a blackboard was brought out, and on it was writing. Now, can anyone tell me what that song is? No, nobody knew. Well, he said, will you follow me? Yes, we all said yes. Right you are. 2 Y's you are, 2 Y's you be. I see you are, Y for me. I've never forgotten that. Never forgotten that. I see you are, I see you be. And it was, yes. And yes, there was Codro's had its own dance band. A squadron up there had the dance band, and they used to take dances down in the WI. And I got photographs, or I got a photograph and signatures of the band. And I got a feeling that it was a Polish band.
Really?
But yes, I don't know. And yes, I know I'm going away further from Trewoon, aren't I?
No. This is all part of your
Yes,
history.
Yes, we got out of school one afternoon and we met somebody. There's an aircraft up on Mullion Beach. Oh hell, we all ran down Mullion now
Yeah.
and got on the cliffs. And there was a seaplane, well, land on the deck or with floats.
Right.
Come up on the tide because he had a engine problem. Now I can't remember now which aircraft it was because there was two very similar, one with the engine looking forward and the other one with the engine looking backwards. But no, we saw it there and we sat down on the cliff and watched the Marines from, or the fitters from Berdanic working on the engine. We thought, well, we've had enough, we'll go home now. But the next morning, the engine had been repaired, and on with the tide, it had turned around and taken off and flew away. But gosh, the excitement we had in the village. Yes, I got a feeling that a waif and a bloke walked out into the sea and drowned himself.
Oh no.
I don't know. These little things are still with me, and Puldew Beach was mined and with scaffolding in behind. Mullion had a scaffold to stop men walking up through, but still there we are. We used to climb it as boys when we went down there. And yes, I don't know.
Were people still able to go out fishing during the war, or were there like mines out further out?
I don't honestly know. I didn't know a
Any
lot
fishermen?
about. No, it was too far to go down there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say yes or no. I would imagine that they did go out fishing, but not too far to get a few fish to eat.
Right. Yeah.
But no. Well, what else can I tell you?
What about rationing? Did you go hungry? Do you remember that, or was there
yes,
plenty of food in the farms? How did that go?
I missed out. I had a brother, Ian, Morris Ian Desmond, he was called, and I think he was about 6 inches, 6 years younger than I was.
Oh, younger, right.
Yes, and he had a heart problem.
Oh no.
At school, and he was told by the doctors, or mother was told, he must not run, he mustn't ride a bike, he mustn't do this. Well, you can't stop a youngster, can you?
No.
We've got photographs of him with the school football team. They won a cup. I forget the name of the cup now. But yes, I got a photograph of him in the team and another one of holding the cup. And then the doctor that was here at the time said to Mother, I've made an appointment for you to take Ian up to Trewoon Hospital. And I forget the name of the doctor that Mother had to see.
That's okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
she caught the bus up with Ian. And he had a good going over medically. And he said to Mother, well, Mrs. Hill, I don't like to tell you this, but your son won't live longer than 10 years. Was it 10 years? Or was it 15 years? Anyway, gave a date.
Really?
Well, we both grew up. We both grew up. He fell in with a young lady down near Otley. Oh yes. He started an apprenticeship in Helston. And he'd done something to his arm. And Mother took him into Helston Hospital to have it looked at. And they got home and there was a telegram waiting for Mother from the person where Ian was working. And it said, you didn't notify me of his absence. He won't be required any longer.
Oh dear.
Well, then Ferber's garage was opposite the church house.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Ferber, a lovely bloke, he gave Ian a job. And they were enjoying it there. I got a photograph of Ian on a motorbike with L plates on.
Yeah.
And yes, he enjoyed it. But I think it was a bit too heavy for him.
Oh no.
And the manager, or the head chef of Mullion Hotel at the time, used to get his petrol from Ferber's garage. And perhaps Ian served him with petrol. And I think he was called Mr. Rudd, was he? Oh, anyway, the person, the head waiter said to Ian, hello Ian, how are you? Lovely, lovely. Oh, wouldn't you like to have a lovely clean job working with me at Mullion Hotel? And he said, well, yeah, well, doing what? A waiter's job. You look just right for it, and it's cleaner, not so heavy. Well, he left Ferber's and took the job as a waiter in the hotel. And I got photographs of him waiting.
Good.
And when Julie started coming down on weekends, or she come down on a week's holiday, Julie, Nora, her sister, and the next door neighbour, Joyce, they came from Staines. And they liked it so much, whenever they had a spare weekend, they would come down Well, Ian met up with Joyce. That was Julie's next door neighbour.
Right.
And he left the Plurian Hotel and went off up to Laleham, a part of Staines, I think, at Laleham to see Joyce, and eventually they got married up there.
They did. Wonderful.
Lovely. And of course it wasn't long before Julie and myself was married.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian, of course, was going to be our best man. But it never happened
Oh no.
because in May, I think it was May, he had a heart attack. It's a pity.
How old?
Oh, he wasn't 24.
24.
Youngster, yeah. He died within 3 months, I think it was 3 months, of the date that the doctor gave Mother in Truro.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if or it could have been a month, I don't know. But anyway, yes, it was sad that he died. So yes, we had to decide on another
Best man. Yeah.
best man now. Yes, and he turned up and we got married. And that was 1960 we were married. No, can't be.
Yes.
Yes,
60. Yeah.
1960.
62
yes,
years.
This
isn't
is 60, come on,
This is 22.
62 years now. Yeah.
What happened to Joyce?
Joyce married again.
Oh.
Joyce married again. And she and her new husband, I don't think I met him anyway, came down to Truro to see a friend and never got in touch with us. Oh well. And then she came down to Truro again and never got in touch with us. So I wrote, because we was writing to each other, you know. I wrote to her and I said, well, thanks a lot, Joyce. We could have come up and met you in Truro, and we could have gone to the gardens and had a good. But anyway, I said, if you can't, let us know that you're in Truro. We could come up and meet you, have lunch together. I said, if you can't do that, it's not worth you writing to us. So I stopped writing, and whether they're still alive or dead, I don't know. But I even forget his name.
Mm.
There we are.
Mm.
Now it's been a up and down life. It's yes, I don't think, well, yes, I shouldn't say anything about a father, but I don't know. But there we are, he's not with us, and I'm still alive. Mother's gone, father's gone, Ian's gone, and Julie's sister's gone, and here we are. I got to be thankful, I suppose, that at the age of 91 I'm still crawling along. I've managed to get up to the village and back, but it's exercise.
Yeah.
And I used to be, when I was married, I was members of 5 committees in the village. And we had a lane, and that didn't make a lot of difference to my committee work.
What committees were there?
Oh, I was in the, oh God, I got to think now. I was on the parish council.
Yeah.
I was on a committee that they thought, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if we got a group together and worked it out that we could arrange a lovely Christmas dinner for the old age people in the village that perhaps couldn't have a Christmas dinner.
Mm.
And it was agreed. It was agreed. So I said, well, yes, I tell you what I can do if you leave it to me. I was in St. Kevin Choir at the time, St. Kevin Male Voice Choir.
Oh, wonderful.
And at the next Monday practice, I brought it up to the choir about this Christmas dinner that we would like to arrange. But before we could arrange for the dinner, we had to make the money. And I said, now, as a choir, would you like to give a concert down at the Puldew Hotel? Because Puldew was a hotel at that time, and I used to do a little bit of evening work down there, or a weekend, taking the place of the porter.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was getting along very well with Mrs. Funny name. Anyway, we went over there. Of course, she said, of course, the room is there, no charge. And she said, what a lovely idea. And I'm sure I can get the crew, or the chefs and the one thing and another, to assist us. Lovely. Tell me what date. Right. So I went to work, and Henry Bozesto from St. Kevin, he was in the band then, and he was our storeman at Kildrose. And I said to Henry, I've got a thought in my mind that you might be able to help me out. Got on with thee. He was the storeman for us in Kildrose. And I told him what I had in my mind to raise money to get this Christmas dinner. Leave it with me, he said. My next practice, I'll bring it up. Right. So, Henry came to work next morning, perhaps, or whenever, and he said, right, it's there, no charge, a little group of 5 of us will come down with your concert to get money for Christmas. And at work, I knew quite a number of people in the workshop area. There was a lady that used to sing solos with male voice choirs, local male voice choirs. And I knew her, and I went in, I said to her, "Hello, my love, I got something in my mind I'd like to offer to you." And I told her about the concert that I was arranging. I said, "Do you think you could sing a solo for us? Tell me the date and the time." So I went back to the committee and I said, "Right, the hotel is no charge, the staff is no charge, the choir is no charge, the band, St. Kevin Band, is no charge. Now it's up to you." And the committee got in touch with Mrs. Shoesmith. Mrs. Shoesmith.
That's unusual, yeah.
It is. And everything was put together, the date and one thing and another, and we went to shops in the village, and in Hatton's shop is where oh God, I don't remember the name of the opposite the old butcher shop, which isn't anyway. Yes, Hatton said, "Right, how much and what kind of veg do you want?
Right.
You'll have it." A farmer said, "Okay, how much cream do you want?" And it built up like that. And we had everything organised. The tickets were sold, the place was full, and we had a lovely concert down there. We did. And we arranged the dinner for the elderly people, and they enjoyed it. And we had a raffle, and the money that we took in the raffle, the committee or the treasurer kept it in one pocket. And we said, "We'll do this again next year." And the next year we did it. And the place, it was full, it was lovely. And the raffle made £120.
You're kidding.
Because each member of the committee put a prize into the pool.
Oh, lovely,
For
yeah.
And I said, we on our next committee meeting now, I stood up and I said, "Well, I thank you, gentlemen, for the lovely evening we gave the elderly people." I said, "Perhaps you recognise that the same." And I said, "Now, here is £120 to put towards next year." "Oh, lovely, lovely. How you do it, I don't know." And then one stranger stood up. "I don't like that. There's the staff giving their time. I propose that we give half of that 120 to the staff." I said, "I don't agree. I worked hard for this." Well, it was voted on and yes, give half of it to the staff. So I said, that's me. And it stopped. Nobody had the neck or the time or the thought of the old ladies and gentlemen for a lovely Christmas dinner in the hotel surroundings, and no, it didn't happen anymore. So I was in those two. I was in 5. I couldn't put them together now. I don't know why. But yes, I gave up my committees because apart from Elaine now being over 2 years old, I suppose, we had twins as well.
Yes.
And I thought, no, it's too much for Julie, and the time that I was going to committees, I could help the
with the children.
yeah.
Not easy having 2 babies at once.
That's right. I was when I was on shift work part of the time, and when I come home at about 6:30 in the morning, I used to have breakfast, and when Elaine woke, I used to take over Elaine while Julie was feeding and
the babies,
changing the babies. I used to bath Elaine and have her on my knee, drying her, and I was teaching her numbers and letters, and she got on very well. She got on at school, and even at work. She's well. The 3 of them are. I'm proud of 3 of them.
Yeah.
They've all had honours, degrees, and one thing and another.
So, what was your profession, and when did you leave school, and how did you choose what you wanted to do? Did you follow your father into carpentry?
No.
Okay.
When I was at the age 15, Mother took me into Helston, into the office of the Cornwall Electric Power Company.
Okay.
In Monique Street. And she said, my son is looking for a job. Well, the old man, Major so-and-so, said, well, yes, the war is over now. We should be taking on apprentices. So they took me on as an apprentice, electrician. And I had to cycle every day for 5 years through my apprenticeship. And 1950 I left in Helston. I must have 1945. At the end of the war, I started my apprenticeship, finished in 1950, and I had to sign up now. So I went to Erdruth for my medical, etc. And yes, I passed, lovely. And then I had to go to Plymouth to the recruiting centre, where I was asked which I would like to go in. And I thought, now if I say I was in the Army Cadets at the end of the war, they put me in the Army. And I can't swim, so it's no good going in the Navy. So I said, I'll go in the Air Force. And I passed out medical, etc. Yes, I'm sorry.
So they trained you in the Air Force?
Yes, I went into the Air Force. I did my training up at, oh gosh, up at Liverpool.
Really?
West Kirby.
My goodness.
Done my training up at West Kirby. Come back to Church Lawford, just outside of Rugby. Oh, that's good. Oh, is she taking them down?
Yes.
Oh, good. Save me a job.
Did you learn to fly? What did they train you to do?
No, I was electrician.
Okay.
And I was stationed at Church Lawford. We had units on various airfields in England working, and I'd been there just over 12 months, I suppose. And yes, I was with two electricians, one from Hale and one from just outside of, I forget the name of the place, just outside of Falmouth, I suppose.
Huh.
And we heard that a section was going to Germany. So anyway, we said, we're going to Germany, boy, come on. So the three of us walked up to the office. We voted to go to Germany. When they went, and one thing and another, well, it was only a month after that there was panic. They called in all the units from various airfields, drop what they're doing. We all had to form up, because I was in an airfield construction unit.
Okay.
And anyone with 6 months or less to do, fall out and go back to your billets. And we all turned around, went down to the health centre or the hospital, got our jabs, both arms, and we was off. I forget where we went and got kitted out. Somewhere near Blackpool. Since something. Anyway, yes, and then down to by train down to, I forget now. And we flew over to the Suez Canal.
Oh.
And yes, I was over by the Suez Canal for about 18 months, I suppose.
18 months? What was it like out there?
Oh, hot.
Yeah.
My first station was Devasois, and that was on the end of the Great Bitter Lake, where it entered the canal going up to the Med.
Right.
And I was on that site for 12 months, and the sergeant came. He used to come once every week, and he said, "How are you doing, Oscar?" I said, "Getting short on work." Oh, he said, "Well, go and see." Oh no, I said, "Yes, I'm getting short of work."
Yeah.
I said, "There's an explosive building just across from the works office, or station engineer's office."
Yeah.
I said, "I've been asked to do that." "No, don't touch that. See the station engineer and he will give you work. Right. So I had one order, and to see the station engineer was another order. So I saw the station engineer. He said, well, Oscar, he said, I've only got the explosive building just over the road. You can have that. I said, well, I don't know what to do now because I've been told, don't touch it, go and get work from you, and you're giving me work. So I said, I want the work, you want the work. So I said to the two electricians, yeah, carry on over there, but all the gear was there, nothing to worry about. Until Charlie came, the sergeant. Oh, he was mad. He was mad. I don't know why. I don't know why. So he posted me.
Oh.
And he posted me down to Chalufa. That was 5 miles up from Suez. And I was there for 5 months, I suppose, from January to July. 5-6 months, and I come home.
Were you glad to get home?
Glad to get home.
I
There
bet.
we are. Yes, I met some good mates down there, over there. And when I left the Air Force, I had 9 names and addresses. And the last one died 3 weeks ago, I suppose.
Oh.
Lovely bloke. Yeah. But there we are. I'm still going.
So you had 2 years of national service.
3.
3 years of
Yeah,
national
I
service.
signed on because
Yeah.
you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, I was informed. I was informed that you could do some hoovering and dusting today if you had the strength.
So did you come back to Mullion in 1953?
Yes, I came back here. I've lived here all my life.
And you came back as an electrician again?
Yes, I come back electrician again. I went back to what was now SWEB, and they never had any vacancies. And so I was just doing anything. I was working down the Cove Hotel and working down Plurian Hotel. And then I had a phone call from Southwestern. I had a job for 3 months. I said, well, I'll take it. Well, it was out at a special it was a round building. They had a series of them building around the country, and it was a reinforced concrete circular building, stainless steel doors to get into it, and inside was a
It's a substation of some kind.
No? I'm getting worse. No. Radio. It's a circular radio, whatnot, around the country. Through the what was it? The army or the? I think it was the army. Yes, and along with that circular building and all the equipment down there for getting in touch with this, that, or the other, they built a little site as you turn to get down to Colvrack off the St. Kevin Road.
Okay.
There's a little by road going down. Well, on that corner, going to Colvrack that way and St. Kevin that way, they built a small station there
Right.
for, well, yes, for the commanding officer and everything, and this and that, and the toilets and the stores, etc., etc. Like a small station there. And I worked there for 9 months. And I was laid off again. And I come home, and I was home a couple of weeks, and a person came in to me and said, "Here, you want a job?" Well, yes, yeah. Well, ETS are looking for an electrician. So I went in, took the job, and I was there 12 months, I suppose, 12 months. And then I heard that they were looking for an electrician out Codrose. So I went down to the Labour Exchange. Oh, I'm putting one before the other now. I was working down the Labour Exchange.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was called Oscar anyway.
It's really.
And I was taking down the pendants and putting fluorescent fittings up. And old Oscar was delighted. And he said to me, "You're doing a lovely job, boy. Now, can you help me out?" I said, "What's that, if I can, boy?" I said, he said to me, "I want to put a light up in the loft." I said, "Oh, I'll see what I can do for you." I said, "I shall be finished tomorrow anyway." So before I went out from where I was working, or where I was being employed, I went down into the stores. I found a suitable box down there, and I thought of everything that he might want to put the light up in the loft. Right? I said, "Can't get no more in this box." It had from clips to cable and fittings, and I went back and finished the job off. So I said, I finished, Oscar. Do you want to come round and have a look with me?" "No," he said, "boy, no. I've seen it already, and you've done a lovely job." So I said, "Well, here's a box." And I put diagrams in there as well. I said, "You'll find everything you might want for the loft." Well, you're very, very kind, boy, very kind. "Oh, but why aren't you out Codrose working?" I said, "Well, I did try to go out there a while ago," I said, "but there was no vacancies. Would you like to go out there?" He said, "A lot of your mates are out there, Frank Hewitt, Morris Williams,
That was
Jimmy
your school
Williams."
friend.
Hmm?
Morris Williams, is that your school friend?
No.
Oh, different one.
This is from Helston.
Oh, okay.
Electricians, yeah. "They're all out there," he said. "Why aren't you out there?" So I said, "Well, I did try some time ago, but I couldn't get out there. They had no vacancies." Pity boy. Anyway, Thursday lunchtime I brought all my gear back and did a couple of small jobs in Helston. And that was And that was the week gone as far as I was concerned. Saturday morning, in the post, a blue card. You have an appointment at RNAS Codrose on Monday morning at 10:30. So I thought one good turn does another, I suppose.
Oh, why not?
So I went out Codrose and had my interview, and I was taken on mine. It took 6 weeks to check on security for anyone.
Yes, yeah.
And I said to the boss, I said, I won't I said, I can put another 6 weeks here with you. Oh yes, ETS, the firm was called. It's packed up now anyway. I was so well asked, all right, well, thank you for what you're doing anyway. 6 weeks, I'll see if I can find someone else to take your job over. So I went out to Codrose, and I was there 34 and a half years.
Oh, brilliant.
And
steady career.
It got to the point where they were laying off gradually. And when I joined there was every type of person, that builders, carpenters, fitters, everything, storemen, because we came under the Devonport Dockyard, and it was lovely, really, a good firm to work for. But over the last few years, they was laying off a few, and I was a foreman. I turned down promotion like a bloody fool, but I thought, no, I'm doing a good job, which I enjoy, and I'm working for a good technical officer, which I'm happy. But down, which left 3 foremen, and Dave Hawkin from the Lizard, and from Port Leven, what the hell was he called? Well, I don't know. But anyway.
Did it take you to retirement?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's...
Dave Hawkin at the Lizard. He was planning foreman. Well, a job that I'd done some years ago. Dave Hawkin and myself were made redundant. And this younger person was made foreman. And nobody liked him. And they got on his head so much that he retired.
No.
But anyway, now, poor old Dave out the Lizard, he's got heart trouble. And I don't know what trouble I got, but here we are. I can't get much more in.
Yeah.
Now, but now I wanted to bring out what I thought, not what Julie thought.
Oh, right, yeah.
I hope I haven't upset her again.
Oh, she had her television.
No, how you can put that together, I don't know.
No, it's brilliant. Thank you.
It